Here is the thing. AI is not going to take over cloud. The thing is, with cloud may be obsolete because of the price and not because of AI. And if we're being realistic, I was talking to this guy one time and he said to me, I don't even think I should still do cloud. And I'm like, why? And he's like, cloud is going to be obsolete in like 5-10 years. And AI is not going to be the one to make cloud obsolete. Cloud is just going to be obsolete because it's expensive. Cloud storage is expensive for a lot of companies. So people like me and you, where we're paying like $1.50 or something like that a month to save our stuff on Google Drive or Windows or on iCloud, it's pretty cheap. To us, it's pretty cheap because we're only saving pictures. But you have to understand, a lot of companies are saving blobs, like bigger files on their storage. They're saving databases, or they're storing data with databases with like millions of information. So their cloud storage will be pricey, very pricey. And I feel like a lot of companies, they're going to reduce. I don't think they would absolutely like get rid of cloud. I think they're just going to reduce the cost of clouds. Now, there are lots of reasons why a company would do that, right? This one, having your data on premise and have different backups in my opinion, is one of the safest way. Now, you have to understand both, right? On premises, I think you're safer on premises, whereas on the cloud is accessibility, right? So you have safety and accessibility. Yes, we can have disasters that can mash up the database, or like water damage. All these things can happen to the database. You need recovery centers. Companies, I find, they making the migrate back from cloud to on premises, because when you're on the cloud, if anything goes wrong, the whole nation will shut down. And we saw that with I can't remember exactly which company, where they were doing an update, and based on that update, everything got shut down, including planes. I think Facebook and all of these companies were shut down. Like, literally the whole nation had a blackout, and that's because of cloud. I know it can have you're updating certain things and you're pushing certain things, but this is why on-premise data is so important. On-premise data is, and I would always advocate for on-premise data, because you can wake up one morning and you don't have access to anything because of the cloud. And a lot of companies are understanding that. Yes, they're fixing things and they're doing things to make it better, but come on, like, why are we depending so much on technology, right? I remember back then, if you go to the bank, the only thing that was going to shut down on you if there's a power outage. Now, we have to look at power outage. We have to look at software disruption. We have to look at update anomalies. There are so many things that we have to look out for when it comes to, the cloud. Whereas stuff that is on premise, or you can like physical, like on site, not much of a problem. So cloud is going to be very expensive, but if they find different ways to reduce the cost, then yes. So, for a lot of people, it makes sense to study it. You remember when internet came out and you had internet on the phone, when in the beginning, it was very expensive. Like in 2006, 2007, no, 2010, internet was very expensive to have on your phone. Like, really expensive. Internet was, you had to pay so much money for you to get just 1 gig of data on your phone. Now you can get, like, I think my phone plan have like 100 gigs of data, and I'm only paying like $40 a month, and that's a monthly plan. So maybe in the future, cloud storage will get a lot cheaper for companies, but it's still going to be very dangerous, because if that company decide to disrupt everything, like if something happened, any updates, any bugs, anything that happen, uh we are doomed. Like, we cannot use our product. Now, going back to migration on premise, yes, a lot of companies are doing that, just because of, I think, when you have a plane that cannot move because of that software, it's really, really dangerous. um but if I had to focus on one thing, it would have to be data, and big data, right? Even if companies store their data on the cloud, right? You have your data on the cloud. Even if companies decide to store their data that way, you still need to know SQL, because data on the cloud will need SQL, data on premises will be SQL. So either way, you still have to learn SQL. I would not, in my opinion, focus so much on the cloud. It's just my opinion. Companies would want access to data from any location, and I like the whole idea of cloud. Don't get me wrong. I like to access my data from this phone, or log in on a different computer and get my data. I enjoy that. I'm just talking about on the programming side of things. Will it still be here 10 years from now? Maybe it will. Right now, it's very costly for companies to put their data on the cloud. So only if they come up with something else that can reduce the cost of cloud, then I don't see, you know yeah, cloud would still be here, maybe, just maybe, well, just maybe. But if I had to put my focus in anything, it would definitely have to be, put your focus on database. Put your focus on database. That's, you cannot go wrong with database. Learning data is the way to go. The learning data is the way to go. But I don't know, if you want to stay in cloud, you stay with cloud. These are the topics that I have all the time with my students, and it's like, would you do cloud, would you go into cloud? And I'm just talking based on what's going on now. In my opinion, right now, cloud is really expensive, and companies are looking to reduce the cost of a lot of things, because, hey, listen, nobody is putting into the economy as before. A lot of people, they are wising up now. A lot of people, they are understanding now that a lot of people are understanding now that the whole aspect of spending when we have such massive job layoff is actually a problem. So companies are realizing that people are not spending on their product anymore, and a lot of the bigger companies, they are in a saving a spot where they need to save, right? And that's their saying when they're letting go. A lot of the employees is more of like, oh, we're letting them go because we need to save. And if a company is choosing to save, the first thing they're going to start off is with storage. Companies are, most of their money is not going to the employers. A lot of the money are not going to the people that is working for them. A lot of their money is going into the infrastructure of the company, and part of the infrastructure of the company is storage. Storage is a big problem for a lot of companies. So if they need to reduce the cost of storage, they will. Like, companies are paying millions of dollars just for storage alone. So to a lot of companies, it will make sense to be on premise than on the cloud, right? But for me to say cloud will be 100% obsolete because of the cost of storage, I don't think so. And as I said previously, when the internet on your phone just came out, it used to be costly just to get 1 gig of data to run on your phone, and now you get all these data for so cheap. So maybe in a couple years from now, the companies will kind of realize, come up with other solution to get storage cheaper, and then it will make sense for cloud computing. But despite the storage and how vulnerable we are when something on the cloud just shut down and our whole life gets disrupted because this part is not working, it's kind of scary, and it always takes me back to that time when that software company, they had an update that was wrong, and like you couldn't fly, you couldn't do anything, everything was just down. And that's actually a very scary thing to comprehend, right? I don't want to be at an airport somewhere and I can't move because this company did an update that was faulty, right? This company did a software update that had bugs. So these are the things that a lot of people are looking at, but technology will still be there. There's just certain field that AI would not take over, and they actually need people to do this type of things. And if we're going back and if you're asking the same question, will cloud be 100% obsolete? No, it won't. Right? No, it will not. So that's my little ramble for today. Glad you came in. Please don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video.